Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Chant A Psalm A. Today's psalm is 68, Psalm 68. God shall scatter his enemies. Who is his and who is God? Let's dive into the psalm for today. Thanks for joining me on this Tuesday, January 30th, as we are getting ready to end January and go into February. I want everybody to know that every day is Black History Month, not just February, every single day. We're not just Black in February, we're Black every day. Okay? So I ask that my words and my meditation are acceptable to the Most High, and that my translation is acceptable to the Most High, that the translation is meant to liberate and it's meant to give meaning to the psalm, taking out the pronouns and putting in exactly what those pronouns are referencing. So this is a psalm to the choir master, a psalm of David, and it's a song. And it begins in verse 1. God shall arise. This is Psalm 68. God shall arise. God's enemies shall be scattered, and those who hate God shall flee before God! Exclamation mark. So, what is God and who is his? God is the omnipotent one, the Most High. Okay? And when you go against that, and what is God? God is righteousness and goodness and love and mercy, right? So when you go against that, when you do not love that, it doesn't matter what you call, the names that you call, but your actions, if you are a lover of hate and you love to discriminate and you love to feel you're better than someone else, you are not a godly person. So when we talk about God scattering God's enemies, these are enemies that are haters, that don't love, that will resort to violence before they resort to love. So the psalm, David is making a statement like, this righteousness is going to arise. Okay? And all of those who are against that are going to flee. They're going to be scattered. And the enemies of the Most High who hate is a very strong word. Only love can cast out hate, right? However, the enemies are haters, and they're going to flee before the Most High. They cannot stand around righteousness and goodness and love. They're going to run. Flee means to run, escape quickly. They're going to run away from the Most High! Exclamation mark. Now, the psalm goes in verse 2 and 3 to explain how they're going to flee. So David is very specific in verse 2. As smoke is driven away, so you shall drive them away. As wax melts before fire, so the wicked shall perish before God. And then verse 3. But the righteous shall be glad. They shall exalt before God. They shall be jubilant with joy! Exclamation mark. So let's dive into translating without the pronoun. So as smoke is driven away, so God shall drive the enemies away. As wax melts before fire, so the wicked shall perish before God. However, the righteous shall be glad. The righteous shall exalt before God. The righteous shall be jubilant with joy! Exclamation mark. So I just mentioned what God is. God is love, righteousness, kindness, compassion, mercy, all of that. And the righteous who serve that are going to be happy. So when you see someone is angry all the time and they're upset, they're going through this and they just, have this disposition, you have to wonder and ask, who are they serving? Because when you are serving the Most High, you are serving that Most High in righteousness, because it's written that the righteous shall be glad. You shall be gay and happy. Okay, gay is means, it was a word that meant happy. Now it's turned into something else. So we want to be joyful. It's written to make a joyful sound to the Most High, to give adulation and gladness. How can you serve that is righteous and glad and happy and good when you're not? When you're not good. So let's get good. And in this psalm, we're going to be jubilant with joy. Yes, some things in life may knock us down, but we have to get back up, and we have to be keep that joy in our hearts flowing through our bodies, so that we can get good energies to heal our liver, receive it, to heal our heart, receive it, to heal our respiratory area, receive it. So we have to be joyful so that the healing can begin. Now, as we go to verse 4, 5, and 6, and I'm doing it in chunks because it's a long psalm, and I want to get it in before I get ready. As you see, I'm up and ready to go. It's 7 o'clock, almost 7:30, and my office hour starts at 9. So I like to get started early. So in verse 4, 5, and 6, we see David is giving a command. He's giving instruction. So David is, and I'll read it because there's a word in there I don't use, sing. So it says, it speaks of singing to God, singing praises to his name, lift up a song to him who rides through the deserts. His name is the Lord, exalt before him. And then let's dive into that verse 4, because it's a lot in there. And when I talk about words is power, I don't use words that start with sin or con, because they're a lie and they're not good. So we want to keep our words good. We want to keep our words in an upful, living way, so that we can break the spells of negativity on our lives. Okay? So chant to Jah, chant Isis to Jah name. Lift up a song to Jah who rides through the desert. That's your ride or live, ride and live. Jah name is the Lord. Exalt before Jah. So Jah name is Jehovah, Jireh, Jesus, Selassie the first. Okay, you can put that in there. Put the name that you call in there. Exalt before Jah, exclamation mark. So David is giving an instruction to chant to Jah, make a song, and give that song as Isis, as a adulation and adoration. I don't want to say pray, because a prey is got a predator out there to grab it, and I don't want to be a prey for a predator. Okay, so I'm gonna chant Isis. I'm gonna chant songs of thanks. Giving thanks is the most important here. To give thanks. When thanks go up, bless flow into your lives. So, verse 5, David is making a statement about God's people, about the people of the Most High. Father of the fatherless and protector of the widows is God in his holy habitation. And then verse 6, God settles the solitary in a home. He leads out the prisoners to prosperity, but the rebellious dwell in a parched land. Let's dive into that, verse 5 and 6. Verse 5 is talking about individuals who do not have a father on the earth, or who never had a father on the earth to take care of them, or to call daddy. They're called the fatherless. And there are children out there who are fatherless. There are adults who grew up without fathers. So David knows this, and he's making this statement in verse 5, who God is. Okay? And God, Jah, is father of the fatherless. That's why it's written, call no man father and on earth. The world has a Father's Day because that's the world. The world is going to be against God. It's going to be against righteousness. It's going to be against the word of life. It's going to be against that because the world as we know it is passing away. Righteousness is going to cover the earth as the water covered the sea. So get on the righteousness, get on the road of goodness and kindness, and honor that is within you that created your irids, your what people call spirit that's inside of you. That is righteousness all the way. So the Most High is the father of the fatherless and protector of widows. Widows are individuals who have lost their spouses. They are no longer two, but they're one. And that's who the Most High is. He's protector of the widows and he's father of the fatherless. And where does he dwell? In his Isla habitation. So instead of holy, I want to use the fullness of the word that is happy. Okay, glad. That's why in verse 3, exalt before Jah, and the righteous shall be jubilant with joy, because this is what the Most High is. The Most High is in his habitation, happy and oh, what's happening? Like having a happiness. So when we talk about holy, oh, you're holier than that thou, you are happier than ever. When people are like, oh, you're fake, you can't be that happy. Yes, I'm happy in the Lord because that is what brings joy. I know in the world that we live in, what I may face may not be joy. However, I know I have a joy in the Most High that I can always tap into inside of me. So pulling that out of you is part of that adulation for your creator. And in verse 6, David, speaks of God settling the solitary in a home and leading out the prisoners to prosperity. And the rebellious are going to dwell in a parched land. Let's dive into that because there's a lot of ones out there who want to be homeowners, want to cut the middleman out and stop renting and paying into a home that you can pay, that use that money as equity into getting another home, or even getting an investment property where you have a rental home. You know what I mean? So in verse 6 is very powerful if you're looking at it in a deep dive way, that the Most High settles the solitary. And the solitary is one who is by themselves. Like me, I'm here teaching in Maryland by myself. And yes, I have my dog. He's right here. However, I'm solitary. And I'm not a homeowner. Have never been owning a home. So one day that's going to happen because the Most High is going to settle the solitary in a home, and did it with my colleague. One of my colleagues was solitary, and now they're settling in their new home. So that is a miracle to me, and I applaud that, and I give thanks that I could be able to see somebody else get into a home. It's like a foreshadow of what's to come for me. So when I read the Psalm and I look at verse 6, Psalm 68, verse 6, that the Most High is going to settle the solitary in a home and leading out the prisoners to prosperity. So prisoners doesn't just mean people who are in jail, but prisoners mean people who are imprisoned by their own selves, like they're locked in and they're stagnant. They're going to be led to prosperity. Okay. So if you're feeling, imprisoned, or you're feeling depressed, have anxiety and all these different, mental health issues, remember that you are going to be led out of that to prosperity. However, those who are rebellious or who rebel against righteousness and goodness and love and kindness, but they're always speaking negativity, they're going to dwell in a parched land. And what is a parched land? When you have no water, you're thirsty, you're in a turmoil. So don't be rebellious against what is righteous and what is good. Don't be jealous when somebody accomplishes something that you may have wanted to accomplish, but you didn't. Be joyful for that person. Be happy. Be glad in the goodness of the Lord that is working in everybody. Have that embracing and looking at that as, oh, that's a miracle. That's a testimony of the Most High. The Most High, she exists. Okay. So we want to embrace that. Verse 7, 8, 9, and 10 is in a chunk. So I'm going to read it all in one chunk. O God, when you went out before your people, when you marched through the wilderness, Selah, the earth quaked, the heavens poured down rain before God, the one of Sinai, before God, the God of Israel. Rain in abundance, O God, you shed abroad. You restored your inheritance as it languished. Your flock found a dwelling in it. In your goodness, O God, you provided for the needy. All right, let's go dive into that because I'm hearing Israel, Sinai, these are nation. And remember, I told you the Bible was written to build white supremacy nation. So you have to read it and translate it into the power of the Most High's words that are purified in the fire 7 times. So let's look at diving into verse 7 to 10. O Jah, when Jah went out before Jah people, when Jah marched through the wilderness, Selah, the earth quaked, the heavens poured rain. Before Jah, the one of that blessed and sent Melchizedek to bless Abram, the one who gave the 10 Commandments. Before Jah, the Jah of Ethiopia, the Jah that reigned in abundance, and the Jah that shed abroad and that restored the inheritance as it languished. Jah flock found a dwelling in that inheritance. In Jah goodness, Jah provided for the needy. Period. So you see how I translated that, took out the pronouns and put in what that pronoun is. So let's go to verse 11, 12, 13, and 14. Like I said, they're in chunks. So in verse 11, the Lord gives the word. The women who announce the news are a great host. The kings of the armies, they flee, they flee. The women at home divide the spoil. Though you men lie among the sheepfolds, the wings of a dove covered with silver, its pinions with shimmering gold. When the Almighty scatters kings there, let snow fall in Zaman. So Zaman is a place. Now let's dive deep into verse 11 to 14. The Most High gives the word. What did I just talk about? That the word needs to be purified in the fire 7 times. The Most High gives the word, and then the psalm is talking about the women. Who is going to announce the great news? Announce the news are a great host. The women who announce the news are a great host. So women are a powerful host for the Most High because women are been given the charge of giving birth and giving life and being that live and that ride and live of the Most High, right? My tea is cold. Anyway, so the women are being referenced here. And that the king of the armies, they flee. The women at home divide the spoil. And then the young men rest among the sheepfolds. And the wings of a dove are covered with silver and its pinions with shimmering gold. That is so beautiful. That's art right there. And then when the Almighty scatters kings there, snow is going to fall on Zaman. So Zaman is a place, and we can look that up. Zaman is referred to here because there's no snow in Zaman. Um, there's no snow in Zaman. So Zaman is his aim, his image, his shade. Um, so Zaman is looked at in the ESV version as Shechem from Abimelech and his party brought bulls and put them to the hold of Shechem and set the hold on fire. Probably southern peak of Gerizim, now called Jebel Salmon. So if we look at the snowfall on Mount Zaman, the snowing in Psalm 68 verse 14, as I'm reading now, it talks about snow falling there. So when we look at Zaman, research that some more. So let's look at verse 15, 16, 17, and 18. So in verse 11 to 14, the Most High is given the word, okay? And then we have verse 15, 16, 17, and 18, we have the psalm talking about the physical place. O mountain of God, mountain of Bashan, O many peaked mountain, mountain of Bashan. Why do you look with hatred, O many peaked mountain, at the mount that God desired for God's abode? Yes, where the Lord will dwell forever. The chariots of God are twice 10,000, thousands upon thousands. The Lord is among them. Sinai is now in the sanctuary. You ascended on high. Who is you? God, leading a host of captives in your train and receiving gifts among men, even among the rebellious, that the Lord God may dwell there. Period. Let's dive in to translate this. So, mountain of Jah, mountain of Bashan, many peaked mountains. So these are mountains with many peaks. As it's written in Psalm 121, I lift up I eyes to the hills, from where come I strength. So the mountains, the hills, all of this is where the Most High desires for the Most High's abode. And the psalm is, David is like, yes, this is where the Most High will dwell forever. Why do you think the U.S. went up into the hills of Afghanistan? They're trying to, because they know that time is coming to an end in terms of the system of Babylon, the system of oppression, the system of discrimination, the system of hatred and marginalization and unfair treatment. It's coming to an end. So when you look at Psalm 68 verse 17, the chariots, because in verse 15 to 16 is talking about where the Most High is going to abide, right? And that in verse 17 now, the chariots of the Most High are twice 10,000. So times 10,000 two times. Thousands upon thousands. Okay? And the Most High is among them. It's among I and I. Okay? And these such places is now in the sanctuary. Sinai is now in the sanctuary. For the Most High ascended on high, leading a host of captives in the Most High's train. So remember I talked about the Zion train, get on the righteous train. Well, the Most High led these captives on the Most High's train and received gifts among these ones, even among the rebellious, even those who are rebelling against righteousness, are giving gifts that the Most High may dwell there. may dwell in that abode, in that place, right? And now when we look at Psalm 68, verse 19 to 23, 19 verse 19 speaks of blessed be the Most High. The Most High daily bears I and I up. The Most High is I and I salvation, Selah. And that's Selah. I'm not putting that in there. That's in there. So the Most High is I and I salvation. So with all that's been said prior, the psalm goes into blessed be the Most High. Because why? The Most High is who picks us up every single day, wakes us up every single day. For the Most High is I and I salvation, Selah. And then verse 20, I and I Most High is a Most High of salvation. And to Jah, the Lord, the Almighty, belong deliverances from death, both financial and physical. So who is delivering you from that? Is the Most High. However, the Most High will strike the heads of the Most High enemies, the hairy crown of the enemies who walks in enemies' guilty ways. Okay? The Most High said, I will bring them forward from Bashan. I will bring them forward from the depths of the sea, that those ones may strike their feet in the blood of the enemies, that the tongues of the dogs may have their portion from the enemies. So this is getting brutal, like really brutal. The Most High is going to bring forward I and I from these places, and will bring I and I forward from the depths of the sea. Okay? And that I and I may strike I and I feet in their blood. Who is their blood? The enemies. And that the tongues of your dogs, okay, may have their portion from the enemy. So your dogs is going to have their portion from the enemies. You're going to have so much left over to give to the dogs, to your dogs. And I talked about my dog is right here, and the dogs are mentioned in the psalm today. So the tongues of your dogs may have your dog's portion from the enemy. Okay? Let's check out verse 24 to 27. The procession of the Most High is seen. The procession of the Most High, my Almighty, my Negus, my King, into the sanctuary. The chanters are in front, the musicians are last, between them virgins playing tambourines. Bless Jah in the amazing assembly. The Most High, oh, the Most High, is of Ethiopia's fountain. Okay? There is Benjamin, the least of them, of the ones who are in the lead. The princes of Judah in their throng. The princes of Zebulun, the princes of Naphtali. So the psalm is talking about all these different ones. He wants to say hi, talk about the psalm. He's talking about the dogs are going to get the portion from the enemies. Okay, yeah. So David is now talking about bless the Most High in the assembly of all these ones. For the Most High, who is of, it says Israel's fountain, but we know is Ethiopia, okay? Verse 28 to 30 now talks about summon your power. Summon Jah power, O Jah. The power, O Jah. By Jah have worked for I and I. The power that Jah has worked for I and I. Because of the Jah temple at Jerusalem, or we're going to say Jah temple in the Isla place, kings shall bear gifts to you. Rebuke He wants to give hugs. Rebuke the beasts that dwell among the reeds, the herd of bulls with the calves of the peoples. Trample underfoot those who lust after tribute. Scatter the peoples who delight in war. Noble shall come from Egypt. Cush shall hasten to stretch out her hands to Jah. Let's dive into this translation. Let's dive into this translation, okay? Psalm 68, verse 28 to 30. Summon Jah power, the power of Jah, through where Jah has worked for I and I. So this power of the Most High, the psalm is asking, let that power work for I and I. Let that power work for I and I. And why? Because the temple of happiness, the temple of goodness, is a place where kings and rulers shall bring gifts to the Most High. And then the psalm goes into rebuking. Rebuke the beasts that dwell among the reeds. And reeds is, when you look at a stream of water, there are reeds. These are plants. So the beasts are dwelling among these reeds, like the alligators and the wildebeest and stuff. The herd of bulls with the calves of the peoples. So, and then it's like trample underfoot those who lust after tribute. And tribute is when you're getting, okay, let's look at what tribute, because it could mean several things. Tribute, oh, Bobby, he gives the best hugs. Tribute is a gift that is intended to show gratitude. So what is the psalm talking about tributes? That he's going to trample underfoot those who lust after these things, who lust after, gratitude and respect and admiration. You're lusting after this from human beings, so he's going to trample those who lust after that, who want, likes on Facebook, or who wants, people to, it doesn't matter if one person is in this YouTube watching this. I'm not looking for likes. I'm not looking for people to like it. I'm looking to share the word in a translated way to uplift the word and to liberate people out of the bondage of mental enslavement with this Bible that has been translated several times for agendas that are not in favor of the people. So when we look at this tribute, you don't want to lust after, people liking you, okay? And you're doing things for likes, because it's written to scatter the peoples who delight in war. If you like to fight, you like violence, you like to, have that in your life, the Most High is going to scatter you, okay? And then in verse 31, why is all this going to be happening? Because nobles shall come from Ethiopia, okay, through Egypt. And Cush is the name of Ethiopia. It's that ancient name. Cush shall hasten to stretch out her hands to Jah. And notice how her hands, Cush is being given female attributes. Okay, I named my daughter Cush for lots of different reasons, but this is the one reason of that ancient name. So Cush shall hasten. Hasten means to quickly stretch out her hands. So Cush is being attributed as a female, just like Zion, the Isla place, is being attributed as a female. Okay. Now in verse 32 to 35, the end of the psalm, O kingdoms of the earth, sing to God, sing praises to the Lord, Selah, to him who rides in the heavens, the ancient heavens. Behold, he sends out his voice, his mighty voice. Ascribe power to God, whose majesty is over Israel, and whose power is in the skies. Awesome is God from his sanctuary, the God of Israel, who is the one who gives power and strength to his people. Blessed be God! Exclamation mark. Let's translate. So in verse 32, O kingdoms of the earth. Okay, we don't have just kingdoms, we have queendoms too. So just as we have male, we have female. O places of the earth. Okay, chant to Jah. Chant Isis to Jah. Selassie the first. So Selah is in there. To Jah, who rides in the Isle of Places, the ancient places. Okay? Ancient is in there. Ancient. So we have to chant Isis to this one who is the ancient one. The one who sent Melchizedek to bless Abram. That is the one we need to look to. Okay? Behold, Jah sends out Jah voice, Jah mighty voice. Okay? Not just Jah voice, but Jah mighty voice. All right? And then in verse 34, ascribe power to Jah. Ascribe power to Jah, whose majesty is over Ethiopia. We're going to take out Israel. Remember, the Bible was written to nation build, to build white supremacy nation. So Israel is going to be in there, okay? Because Israel is a white nation, all right? It's, you know, and the Jews, the real Jews, are the Falasha Jews in Ethiopia. So I can't be anti-Semitic when I'm a Jew. I am of that. And you want to say that something different. So that's why we translate these scriptures. Whose majesty? His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie the First Majesty is over I and I. So instead of Israel, I use I and I or Ethiopia because we're Ethiopians. All black people are Ethiopians, whether they want to think so or not. All black people ain't from Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Texas. You know, we're Ethiopians. We were placed here out of not our own intention. Okay. So remember who you are, remember where you come from, because that's where the power is. Your superpower is in your knowledge of who you are. Once you find that, you you cannot be messed with. You will be directed accordingly. Know who you are. Remember who you are. That's important because when we talk about Israel, I translate it as I and I. Okay. That's right. Somebody's on my live talking about the real Jews were ran out of Israel. Israel is Judah, and Judah, Ethiopia is the real. Blessed. I'm not alone in this. Thank you, somebody. Give thanks, give thanks, give thanks, and Isis to Alpha Omega, who is commenting here. I open my comments up now so I can hear, you know, what people have to say about this, because a lot of theologians, a lot of pastors are going, they have, you know, debated with me on this issue. And every time they debate with me, they always end up right circling, returning to the truth. Okay. And the truth is that the power of the Most High is in I and I. All right. Not in a state or a nation, but in I and I. And that place of the Most High is the mountains, the many peaked mountains. Okay. Because as the Psalm, as verse 34 now says, that the power is in the skies. So we seek for what is above, not what is below. We are here on this earth below. However, we have to be knowing that we are human beings having a righteous experience. Let's have a righteous experience, okay? that we have now verse 35. Oh my gosh, I'm getting all the feeling of the Most High empowering me now. Verse 35. Awesome is the Most High in the Most High sanctuary. The Almighty of I is the one that gives power and strength to I. Blessed be Jah, Rastafari, head creator. Okay? Blessed be the Most High. Selah and Selah again. Here ends the psalm for today. Blessed be the word of Jah. Give thanks for listening to the word of the day. I am so pleased to know that we have some folks out there who also appreciate the word and the word as being uplifting and translating for empowerment of each of I in this tradition that we are living today. We want to give thanks. Thank you so much for joining. Let's look at what the word of the day is. I usually share the word of the day from dailyword.com, and the word today is surrender. I love that. Surrender. Spiritual, righteous surrender keeps I in the flow of life. When you surrender to what is righteous and good, you are in the flow of life. Okay? So, bless that my word of the day, the word of the day, is acceptable to the Most High, that my words and my meditation are acceptable to the Most High. The word of the day is surrender. Tuesday, January 30th. And this in the Ethiopian calendar, we're in the month of Tur, I believe. Maskaram Tek Kemtida Tasas Tur. Yakatit Makabit. So we're in Yakatit. We're about that month there. So let's read the word of the day. Resisting the events of I life is as swimming against a strong current. No matter how much I try, I cannot overtake the force of the water. But when I swim with the current, I am borne effortlessly upon it. Righteous surrender works much the same way. When I resist the circumstances of I life, when I fight against what is happening, I am swimming upstream. However, when I accept what is happening, I am surrendering to the flow of life. I may still work toward changing undesirable situations. However, I do so from a place of acceptance, not resistance. You accept. No longer fighting, I give myself over to the power of Jah. I need not rely or rest solely on I power, will, and effort. I surrender to the Most High within me and ride life's currents with ease. So, what is the word of the day talking about? Oops. What is the word of the day talking about? It's talking about surrendering, and it's using the current of the water. When you're swimming against a current, there's a lot of resistance, right? However, when you are going with the flow of the current, it's effortlessly you are flowing, right? So it's the same way when we are surrendering our righteousness, righteous surrender. So when we are faced with a challenge, we are faced with somebody who's homophobic, we are faced with somebody who's racist, we are faced with somebody who is discriminating against something about us. When we are faced with this, we surrender. We're not no longer fighting. We are giving ourselves over to the power of Jah and leaving that into the hands of the Most High, and you will see the results. Okay? As the Psalm today told us today in Psalm 68, okay, what is going to happen that I is going to strike I feet in the enemy's blood, and that the tongues of I dogs may have the portion from the enemy. So surrender your righteousness. Leave that to the Most High. Don't take yourself up into the enemy and try to fight against the enemy physically. And, leave that. Surrender. Take your righteousness and use it for good. Use it to be an example to the enemy what righteous, loving goodness is about. Be that example. When somebody's negative and they come at you with negativity, boom, surrender to righteousness and talk about that. If somebody, oh, I don't want to go to work today, it's all these co-workers are blah, blah, blah. Guess what? Leave it. Give yourself to the power of God. And what is God? What is Jah? Goodness, righteousness, love, kindness. All of that is embodiment of the Most High. So when you give yourself to that and not relying or resting only on your own power, will, and effort, you're going to be having depression, anxiety, all kinds of turmoil in your life. This is going to happen. But when you give it over to the power of righteousness and goodness that is the Most High, guess what? You don't have to worry about stress. You don't have to worry about, people attacking you or hating you, as the Psalm talks about today, that they hate, people that are hating what's good. And you don't have to worry about that. So as we end the word of the day, we have Proverbs chapter 3, verse 6. And in Proverbs chapter 3, verse 6, it says, in all your ways acknowledge him. Who is him? His Imperial Majesty, Selassie I, Jesus Christ, the Almighty, Omnipotent Jehovah, Jireh. Acknowledge that one, and that one will make straight your paths. So when you're walking, I have to walk to work in a few minutes. When I'm walking, guess who I am acknowledging? Aha! The Most High. So that my paths may be straight and I may walk straight and correct. Okay? That is sealing up the word of the day. Surrender. So go ahead, go out there and surrender. Try it. Try it. When somebody comes at you with negativity, surrender to righteousness and talk about something good and righteous. Flip it. Flip the script on them. Okay? Flip the script. And this happens, and eventually they're not going to come at you with negativity anymore. They're going to say, she's so positive. She's always positive. Oh my goodness, let me share something positive with her this time. So that's going to happen. You're going to find that. So remember my hawk feather, where I'm located is in hawk country. And as I was walking, I acknowledge the Most High in all my ways, and I found this. It is a feather, a hawk feather, beautiful hawk feather. So I want to send you out with all of the goodness and love and kindness for your day today. Okay, we're hitting up on 8 o'clock, and I have to write in my manifestation journal. I write in that 3 times in the rise, 6 times in the afternoon, and 9 times before I go to rest. I write what I want to manifest. And my manifestations are things that I want to see happening in my life as well as the lives around me, because what impacts me is going to impact those around me. So you're not isolated. No man is an island. You are impacting people no matter how you think about it or not. When you're sitting at your office, you're sitting at your job, people you're impacting in either positive or negative ways. Which way are you going to go? Positive? Let's stay positive. Thank you, Alpha Omega, and have a blessed day. Be safe. Have a safe journey today. And I bid you Ja Grace. Sora Dochna, do good.